Okay, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Dan. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town Council meeting for the Town of Lake Clark Shores, December 14th, 2021. Mary, can we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Paul Shalhoub,
Present.
Vice Mayor Robert Shalhoub.
Here.
President Pro Tem Gregory Freebold.
Here.
Councilmember Valteen Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilmember Albert Pavone.
Here.
Thank you, Mary. Always one of the more sadder moments of our evening when I want to have a moment of silence for the following residents who recently passed away. Dr. Spencer McStroth, 92 years old, and was a resident of Lake Clark Shores for 53 years. William Piper Walton Sr., 94 years old, and a town resident for 43 years. And Dolores Hernandez, 90 years old, and town resident for 51 years. May their memories be eternal. Father Peter.
Nope.
Oh, Pastor. Hey. Thought I saw you. I was looking for you in the crowd. Would you be so kind as to lead us in invocation and then the Pledge of Allegiance?
Be my honor, man. Would you stand with me, please? Thank you so very much. This is a reading from the Old Testament in Isaiah. Let's look to the Lord. For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. Our gracious and heavenly Father, we do come before you with thanksgiving and praise, and we seek your guidance. We seek your wisdom. Would you give us good discernment as we seek to do your will? Bind us together in thy precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, please.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Pastor. All right. We have approval of the agenda.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull off of the agenda unfinished business, lien reduction on 1621 Ferrandis. A couple of issues have come to mind, and I've like to have some time to look into it. I saw the pencil to paper calculations that Dan did, but I don't know whether or not that includes Melissa Nash's fee whatsoever. And another matter came to light that I'd like to look into.
Okay. Is that a motion to remove it from the agenda?
So move.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
No, I just,
Yeah.
Mr. Whitaker actually called me today and asked us to remove it as well, so.
Okay, all right. So all in favor of that amendment to the agenda?
Aye.
All right, take a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Now we're on to presentations. You know, one of the many great things that make our town so special and amazing is the police department. And it makes it amazing because our officers do an amazing job. And during my short tenure as mayor, I've had the honor and privilege to present some life-saving awards, and tonight I have that distinct privilege and honor again. So back on September 5th this year, Officer Garina and Officer Zarzecki responded to a call at 1530 Forest Hill Boulevard when an individual was unresponsive. They found an unresponsive female who was likely an overdose victim. After assessing, they waited a couple of minutes per department training and they immediately administered Narcan with no effect. They waited a couple of minutes, had to take 2 doses, and eventually the patient was able to recover, and she was brought to the hospital successfully by Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. If not for these officers' swift actions, this individual would have passed away at the young age of 26 years old. Myself, on behalf of the council as well, want to commend both of these wonderful officers on their life-saving actions and present them with these life-saving awards.
See him back there.
Was he on this?
Hmm?
Would you see him?
I said, I wonder why he's not up there. I see him back there. His name's there.
Maybe it's a second.
He might have already gotten it for that. I think we did this before. Then I'll come out of the picture.
You want to come in front of the podium? One, two, three.
You have the faces back here. Oh, yeah, now there's the smile. That was good.
Very nice. For Christmas.
Sushi Joe.
You told me. Which is fine. Pop wants really?
Yeah.
Really?
He said.
Go figure.
No, from Louis Frankel.
Photobomb the picture.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
I'll go with it.
Thank you.
Thank you again, officers.
We still vote up.
You know,
And-
there was a thank you note in the packet.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get to it here in a minute. In addition to those fine officers, we have Officer Lenny Loignako. Close enough? Of course, Corporal, yes. Corporal Lenny Loignako. Back on September 5th. Again, another busy day for our department. Responded to a driver who was passed out behind the wheel of a running car at Lake Clark Drive and Forest Hill Boulevard. With his training and experience, he also recognized this individual had overdosed and immediately after shutting off the vehicle, administered Narcan. He was able to revive this individual and save his life. The individual was quite young as well at 39 years old. On behalf of the town council, I'd like to commend Corporal Loignako on his quick thinking and actions. This is now his second or fourth? Fourth life-saving award. Is that a department record? I think it's quite impressive.
One, two, three.
Nice.
DIY. Yeah, see, well, I like that.
It's always unfortunate when people overdose, obviously, but truly it's amazing that these fine young men were able to save those lives. And Chief, I commend you on making sure that all of our officers are trained in order to do so. It's something special and really appreciate it. All right. So now we're on to quasi-judicial proceedings. And this is First Learning Academy, the Second Inc. Special exception request for the 1815 Forest Hill Boulevard property. Charlie, can you have a brief presentation on that?
Yes. On November 17th of this year, the Zoning Board of Adjustment heard case number 2021-03. And as you've already indicated, this is the application of First Learning Academy for a special exception to operate a child care center located at New Alliance Church, which is in the single-family residential zoning district. The zoning code for the town of Lake Clark Shores, section 125-292, allows for a child care center to be located in a single-family residential district as a special exception if the conditions set forth in the code are met. The Zoning Board of Adjustment, after hearing testimony, concluded that all the factors and standards set forth in the code were addressed and recommended approval of the application for the special exception for First Learning Academy for the Child Care Center. And it is now before you, the town council, to consider their recommendation, to consider additional testimony, if any, from the applicant, and to determine whether or not the town will grant the special exception.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Going to go a little bit out of order to an extent on the agenda. Mr. Bello, so you've heard the recommendation of the zoning board, and it's in favor of your request. You don't certainly have to come up and tell us anything else, but if you want, you can add later, or you can add now, or you can see how this plays out.
I just want to say thank you for the council members and everyone here for even considering us to be here. We've also been in the town for about 10 years servicing the community, and I look forward to another 10 years being here as well. So I really, really appreciate it all.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. Is there anyone in person or online that wants to rebut the application or otherwise speak against it?
See nobody online.
All right. Any members of the council have an issue with this application?
Nope.
No. All right. Well, we can move on to the conclusions. Anyone want to make a finding of fact and conclusion of law? Or otherwise move to approve?
Move to approve and accept the findings of fact as submitted by the applicant and the code.
Zoning Board.
Zoning board. All right, we got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you very much for bringing this to Lake Clark Shores. All right, item B, New Generation Montessori, special exception request for 1349 South Florida Mango Road. Charlie, you have a brief presentation?
Yes. Also on November 17th, the Zoning Board of Adjustment heard the case 2021-04, the application of New Generation Montessori for the approval of a special exception to operate a child care center located at St. Mary's Orthodox Church, which is in the single-family residential zoning district. The zoning board heard testimony from the applicant, and I believe that there was also testimony from a resident given at that hearing. Following the testimony, the Zoning Board of Adjustment concluded that the applicant had met all of the standards and factors set forth in the code for the granting of a special exception, and recommended in their order to the town council approval of the application.
All right, thank you, Charlie. And Arturo de la Mora, similarly, as you just heard, welcome. You heard the presentation, the recommendation in favor. If you want, you can wait to add anything later. You can add something now. If there's no one rebutting it, there might not be any.
I just want to thank you, all the staff and all the members of the city, because from day one, we received excellent attention from the phone, from everyone. And we believe that this city is going to be an opportunity for us also to offer a Montessori education for the families on here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone who wants to rebut the applicant or otherwise speak against the application?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I do have an email that was sent earlier today
Okay,
on this subject. It's from Mr. Brian Fuente, who lives at 2555 West Corandis Road.
Okay.
And his comment is, will there be any new construction on that property? And if so, where and to what extent? I have concerns with construction taking place close to my property, since I recently saw surveying taking place in the empty field south of the church and all the way to my back fence.
okay.
And that issue was addressed at the hearing, and we'll let the applicant speak to it, but it's my recollection that the Zoning Board of Adjustment was advised that there would not be a new facility constructed, that they would be using the existing facilities.
That was my understanding from the application. Mr. Mora, de la Mora, is that the case?
Yes.
Come on up to the microphone.
Yes, the survey and all the people that has been working around. Well, first of all, the survey, it was a requirement for plans and permits that we are going to start as soon as if this motion is approved. And we are not building new construction. We are remodeling the current building, putting new fence around the building, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Was there any other comments?
No,
That was an email, so that was sent earlier today? Or-
correct, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please, Father Peter.
Just to,
You could just state your name.
thank you. Father Peter Sporton, priest, St. Mary's Orthodox Church, Florida Bank Road. The survey I think that he was talking about was the one either the state of Florida or Palm Beach County was doing for the purposes of widening Florida Mango Road. In fact, we were there when they were actually out there. The surveyors were out there putting the stakes down and everything else a few months ago. So I think that's the concern that he has, is because of the widening of the road right there. And it has nothing to do with us.
Okay. All right. Any council comments on this or issues with the application?
Nope.
No.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Charlie, everyone knows that that's my church and I'm their legal advisor, and I've made this announcement in the past. And I just want to make absolutely certain that no one, I'll start over again, that it's not a conflict of interest.
Yeah, I reviewed the matter and concluded that it is not a conflict of interest. It's appropriate for you to disclose that you are their legal counsel, but you are not prohibited from voting on this matter.
All right. I'll take a motion to accept the findings of fact and conclusion of law and approve the application.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. De La Mora, congratulations. Thank you for bringing this Montessori school to Lake Clark Shores with you. Wish you both nothing but the best. All right, So now we have another public hearing, if you will. This is on the comprehensive plan amendments, the second and final reading of ordinance 2021-10, amending the town of Lake Clark Shores comprehensive plan by revising policy 3.10.1 and adding element 13 property rights. Mary?
Do we read this now or do we open the public hearing first?
I think you have to read it and then we open the public hearing.
Read the title first, yes.
Okay. Sorry. An ordinance of the town of Lake Clark Shores, Florida, approving the following amendments to the town of Lake Clark Shores comprehensive plan. The revision policy 3.10.1 to the land use element to provide for improved transitional uses on Forest Hill Boulevard, and the addition of comprehensive plan element 13 property rights, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
Thank you, Mary. Are there any public comments or discussion on this, either here live and in person or online, Dan? Now would be the time to talk about it.
We have no one raising their hand online.
Okay. Anyone in the audience want to speak on the passing of this ordinance or have any questions? Anyone chiming in online?
Nope, no questions. No hands raised.
And how many participants do we have today?
3.
Okay. All right. Well, having heard no objection or issues on the ordinance, is there a motion approved? Okay, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Well, yeah, you moved.
It's fine.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. On to the next public hearing. Notice of intent for collection of non-ad valorem assessments for wastewater facilities. Approval of resolution 2021-34, stating the intent of the town to use the uniform method for levying, collection, and enforcement of non-ad valorem assessments for wastewater facilities. Mary?
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Lake Clark Shores stating the intent of the town to use the uniform method as authorized under section 197.63, 3632 Florida statutes for the levy, collection, and enforcement of non-ad valorem assessments, adopting findings, providing for advertising for a public hearing, for holding a public hearing, and for mailing of this resolution, stating the need for the levy of non-ad valorem assessments for the financing, construction, and other related costs of wastewater and water facilities, providing a legal description of the real property within the town's northern utility service area, subject to the levy of non-ad valorem assessments for water and sewer facilities, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone in the audience want to discuss or otherwise have an issue with the passing of this resolution? Yeah. Come on up, Tim. If you'd be so kind as to stand at the podium.
Tim Daughtry, 1410 Keller Road. So are we going to have a public hearing before the imposition of any taxing of the residents of the town concerning septic to sewer conversion and everything else? I mean, I don't have a problem per se with this ordinance, but I would like us to have a workshop and a lot of back and forth between the individuals that live in the town and staff and you all concerning the amounts that are going to be spent on this project and everything else. So I understand this is part of the process. I just want to make sure that there's a lot of resident input in the process. That's what I want to know about.
Right, so this is, well, this is just allows us the ability that if and when the time comes to have an assessment, this box is checked, right? So there's no amounts coming with this.
I understand.
As it relates to a public hearing on assessments, I defer to Charlie as to what the process is.
We will have additional proceedings for you to determine the amount of the assessment, if any. The purpose of this ordinance is to determine the manner in which an assessment will be collected if and when it's imposed. You have the ability to do that independently by sending invoices to the residents or by following what's called the uniform method of collecting non-ad valorem assessments, which is the placement of the assessment on the tax bill. So this resolution authorizes and allows the assessment, if and when approved, to be placed on the tax roll for collection. It doesn't determine the amount. That will be done by subsequent hearings.
Does that answer your
So
question?
when is that going to take place, and has there been any thought on timeframes of this?
Dan?
March or April, maybe May, when that discussion will occur.
Okay.
We have to get an opinion of cost from the engineer, and they're on schedule to provide us that somewhere in that timeframe.
So I would really like the residents to know exactly what we're talking about and for a cost amount well ahead of time, so they have the time to give their input. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay.
And you understand that we're now under a DEP mandate to do this.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm
Okay.
clear about that. I'm very clear about that. Okay. But at the same time, the residents, especially some of our residents that are on fixed incomes, they need to know, and they need to know sooner rather than later what sort of monies we're talking about, okay? Not popped on them at the last minute, okay? They need to get a chance to give some input about this. That's my feeling on that.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Any other in audience, in person comments, discussions, questions? Anyone online?
No, sir.
All right. Take a motion to approve the resolution.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Right.
All right, motion carries. Well, we have cruised through the agenda that at first blush I thought was going to take quite some time. So we don't have any new business. We do have audience comments. However, Chief Adams, welcome back. You have come a couple of times and the meetings have run long. Would you be so kind as to give us an update as to how the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue is doing? You can come up there, you can sit there. I don't know how to work that microphone, so.
Test? Oh, I was turning it off. I'm sorry about that.
There you go.
I'm not very good with IT stuff. I'm still back in the 80s. Okay, let's see. Good evening. Thank you for having me. Happy holidays, everybody. I wish everyone a very safe holiday. What's going on? Let's see. Last month for November, we ran 20 calls here in your area, and 16 of them were medical. 1 vehicle accident, 1 fire, 1 fire alarm, and 1 assist. Our turnout time, which I think I explained before, was pretty good. That's the time that our firefighters get the call to go, and then we arrive at the resident's house, which is 55 seconds.
Wow.
Pardon me. Please let me correct myself. The turnout time is from when the time they get the call to when they actually get in the vehicle. So if they're in the shower, they're eating, whatever's going on, and we strive for 1 minute and 30 seconds during the day and 2 minutes at night. So right now we're at 55 seconds. So that's good because that's a number that I can kind of sort of control. Can't control the traffic, but I sure can control everybody getting out and getting on the apparatus, getting moving and getting ready to go help you guys. So that's good. Our 2020-22 annual report is now in print. So I'll be looking forward to getting that to you guys, and that's going to give you lots of good information, including the fact that our fire chief, Chief Duran, won Fire Chief of the Year in the state of Florida this past year, which is a pretty big accomplishment. So you'll see that in your report. We put 90 new recruits this year through. I think 3 recruit classes, which is a pretty strong force. I think we're at almost like 1,700 now. So that's great news for you guys. Great service out for the community that we have a good, strong force. Other than that, that's all I have. Thank you for having me. And like I said, again, everybody, please have a safe holiday.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Chief.
you.
Really, thank you for continuing to come back. I love how often you visit our meetings. It's wonderful. I saw you mentioned a fire, and I think the last time we were speaking, which is not the last meeting, the one before that, didn't seem like Lake Clark has very many fires. What was the, did you ever see what that statistic was for us?
I will have to look into it to see exactly, but it could just be dispatched as a fire. Once
Okay.
you get to the fire and you do an arrival report and you assess the scene, it could be nothing. So, yeah, I'd have to look in specifically for that, and I apologize that I didn't
No,
do
no,
that.
no. Hey, look, we're just fortunate enough that y'all are here providing such fast and awesome service. So thank you very much.
And I'm sorry I missed the holiday parade. I heard you guys had a holiday parade last weekend. Next year, if I will definitely love to participate and come and be part of the community event.
Oh, that would be great. We'd love to have you.
Bring a
Because
fire truck.
yeah, events are back in Lake Clark Shores, so it's fantastic.
Yes, I heard you guys had a ladder truck. Somebody's got some connections here. Wink, wink, chief.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for Chief Adams? No?
Thank you.
All right, thank you again, Chief. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We also have today Bill Lynch. Good evening. With Jones Edsman. Would you be so kind as, I don't know if you have, I saw your report, I read your report. I could ask you during the report status, but is there anything you'd like to discuss now before we move on to audience comments?
You guys have any questions about the report?
I don't at this time.
Okay. Working with Dan, we will equip you when you go to Tallahassee with information to make you effective in the hallways.
Are you going to be going as well?
No, that's the same day as Environment Day for Leadership Conference.
Okay. I got you. All
If
right.
anything comes up, let me know.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Bill?
No. We'll talk to you before we go there. Thanks, Bill.
All right. Moving on now to audience comments. Anyone here in the audience have anything to share? Questions, comments? All right.
Hi, good evening. My name is Robert Gonzalez, 1420 South Lake Court. Just wanted to quickly take a moment to address everyone in the town, whoever may be online, and also for those of you that are in person. I am running for town council for Mr. Pavone's District 4 seat. I just want to provide my contact information if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, or questions about, my vision or my passion for Lake Clark Shores. I want to share my contact information, but briefly, my family moved into just outside of Lake Clark Shores' reach in, well, I guess I'm going to call it the donut hole, which is Edgewater Terrace and the little enclave that's there in that area in 1992. A few years later in 1999, we were very, very blessed to move into Pine Tree Lane, and that's where I spent a lot of my youth and growing up. And I owe so much to Lake Clark Shores. I'm tremendously grateful and thankful that we have this gem of a community. So that is a little bit of my background and my connection to Lake Clark Shores. My phone number is 561-320-1377. Again, 561-320-1377. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And thank you very much for all the wonderful job that you guys have done and continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Nope. All right. Any other audience comments? Yes. Mr. Daughtry.
So you have. So Tim Daughtry, 1410 Keller Road. So you deferred the Corandis decision on the lien imposition, okay? So I'm going to pass these out. Okay, this is our form of which goes out about 2 months ago. Okay? And it concerns code 5 and liens, okay? And it's very short to the point, but for the last 2 months, ending at the end of November, in Palm Beach County, there was a program that was in effect for 2 months that allowed anybody that had a code enforcement lien and had fulfilled their requirements to do corrections under a code violation to remove those liens. And all they had to do was pay a $250 administrative fee. Okay. And I'm going to read something that the executive director of Palm Beach County Planning and Zoning said in that article. And the statement was, with code enforcement, we don't want your money, we want your compliance. Okay, so I've listened for the last couple of months about the lien at Caranis, okay? And I'll be honest with you, it's way too large. The man complied, pay the administrative fees, be done with it, okay? That's simple, okay? This is what the county's doing. It's what Riviera Beach has done. This is a program that is well recognized nationwide and in the state to remove these code enforcement fines, because all this is about is compliance. Compliance is compliance, okay? We don't need to hold a large number over the heads of someone who has complied with the code, okay? We don't need this. In this Brandis instance, the size is just astronomical for the violations that are there. And I know there's some differences of opinion between myself and maybe some members of the council on this, but I got to be honest with you, that's a huge fine. The man has complied and the man needs to be given an adjustment on that fine. Pay us, of course, we are out of pocket administrative fees. I get that. I get that. I totally get that. But code enforcement is not a revenues raising instrument, okay? It is an instrument to get compliance, and that's where that gentleman has gotten to, okay? And that's that part, okay? And then the second thing I'd like to bring up is, and I only have one copy of this, which you can pass around. And this is something that was given, well, it was on a blog in Lake Worth, written by a gentleman. It's concerning the boat lift and the presence of surveyors hired by our town in the park, Spillway Park in Lake Worth, and the way this went about and how the South Florida Water Management District was not noticed on this. Lake Worth was not noticed on this. And these were surveyors hired by us to survey a piece of property that isn't even in our town, okay? To the tune of a budget amount of $8,000, okay? Now that's not what was spent, because Dan called them and pulled them off, after they started, when there was an understanding that they were not there with notice of everybody else. We're spending money on infrastructure in this town. We don't need to be spending $8,000 to survey a piece of property that is not in this town. Okay.
Dan, who paid for that?
Blue Way Trail Inc.
Lake Lock Shores didn't spend any money, correct?
No.
All right.
So, but this said it was our money.
You can't always believe what you
Everything you read
read.
in the paper,
Okay,
especially
I understand.
especially coming from that blogger.
Okay, I understand, okay, but here's the thing, okay? I know this is an advantage to our town, okay? I know it's a real advantage to this town, okay? We need to be doing things right and noticing people in Lake Worth when we're want to do these things. We need to do it. We need to do it right, because there's going to be, and Lake Worth is Lake Worth. You're going to find some people that are very adamant about not using that park for the boat lift. Okay, we've got to do things right. We've got to notice the right people in the right way so everybody knows what's going on. We have to cross the T's and dot the I's.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I believe that's exactly what we've been doing for a while.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes, please, Dan.
I contacted the manager before we sent people out there.
Oh, you
for
did?
Lake Worth Beach. And Lake Worth Beach manager asked me to wait until after the November 2nd
Which is in the
town council meeting, which we did.
So That's in there too, okay? And I understand it was a miscommunication. But again, I know a lot of people in Lake Worth, and I know their feelings about this. We got to be very careful how we handle this, so they don't feel like this is being pushed into them. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, and that would be a general feeling from a number of these people I've talked to. Okay, I mean, they like that park being the way it is, and putting that rail system to lift the boats from the upper area to the lower area is an issue for a significant number of people, especially the people in that area in College Park, right next to the spillway, both on the Lake Worth side and on the West Palm Beach side. Okay, we're the ones who are really getting the benefit of this, although it does, of course, tie into all the way down to Lake Ida and whatever else.
I think the county and all the municipalities involved along the Channel Lakes are the ones who really benefit.
So.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daughtry. All right. Any online questions, Dan?
No, sir.
Any other questions, comments from the crowd in person? All right, let's move on to status reports. We're going to start with Charlie. Mr. Shuck.
My report is included in your agenda packet. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Shuck on his report? No? Okay. Chief.
Yes, sir. You have a copy of my status report. I have a couple of things I want to mention. This morning, the department disposed of, incinerated $250,000 in narcotics and drugs for the last 10 years. And a lot of this stuff we had to hold on to because people get probation. If they violate probation, then you have to have the evidence. So we got a court order and we proceeded and had the street value, $250,000 worth of narcotics. It was over 1,000 cases that we had over the past 10 years.
That's awesome, Chief. Thank you.
And then one other thing I want to mention, you saw a lot of times I get people ask about what the traffic camera checks. So I gave you a list so you can see everything. And last month, the camera system, the 5 camera systems checked and processed 89,306 vehicles were checked and processed against the list that you have in my report. And I think we had 14 miscellaneous hits, and generally those are tracking hits, people that have orders against them, and it's just a way of keeping track of the locations and stuff, restraining orders and that type of thing. So anyway, I want to mention that. Also, we have the speed cameras, so a lot of people find that interesting. So with forfeiture, I'm going to put 2 more, and I mentioned that before on Pine Tree Lane. But the speed sign at Caressa and Westlake, we did a count of 22,651 vehicles for the month at an average speed of 29 miles an hour. That's average. The system that's up on Westlake had a count of 27,479, have an average speed of 24.
I was pleased to see that those numbers are quite low.
I think it's been very beneficial. You're going to have some people, you'll see people speeding, but we track the time, the date. We know what days, what issues we have, and that's what we'll direct the officers to do enforcement. But I've noticed a big difference, and I think you'll notice a big difference on Pine Tree with slowing people down. So just wanted to mention.
Thank you very much, Chief. Any questions for the Chief? Gentlemen?
Nope.
All right. Keep up the great work, Chief. And I got to tell you, these reports by Sal giving a little bit extra summary is really great. I enjoy reading them every As funny as that might sound, I do enjoy reading them every month. So thank you, Chief. All right, Mr. Clark.
A couple of things this evening. First, I want to draw your attention to the upcoming council meeting schedule. Because we have Florida League of Cities legislative days and because we have Palm Beach County legislative days, both the meeting in February and the meeting in March will be on the first of the month. So please adjust your calendars for March 1st. And February 1st. The March 1st date is actually driven by the election. So March 1st and February 1st, early in the month. The second thing is a surprise, and I'm sorry for surprising you. I try and bring everything to you ahead of the meeting. But today we were noticed by the governor's office that he is going to give state employees the 24th of December off and the 30th of December off. And we already give our employees the 24th off. We also give them the 31st off. But I was wondering if council would consider giving them the 30th off as well to go along with what the state's doing.
All right. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we give them the 30th of December off in accordance with the state.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you. And again, I apologize for surprising you with that.
No problem. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you earlier today about it. Also, Mr. Clark mentioned the town meeting on March 1st. That is also, per your notes here, the candidates forum, as we do have an election. So for all those listening, there will be a candidates forum on March 1st for you all to attend with the candidates who are currently running. Any questions for Mr. Clark?
Yes. Dan, they brought up tonight about the widening. Is there any update on when phase 1 will begin? Which I know they're doing it in 2 phases, so I'm assuming they're going to do 10th to Forest Hill first?
Actually, they're doing it in 4 phases.
Oh.
And they're going to do north of Arabian to Edgewater, I think is the first piece. And then they're going to do Gregory. I know that, I can't remember the exact phasing, but I know that the Gregory to through the intersection at Forest Hill Boulevard is delayed because there are a number of takings and they can't get into the courts system to work out the taking issues. So that one has been delayed for a year. We expect construction to start on the Edgewater, I guess it's Edgewater to Gregory, to start soon because the gas company just closed out their permit, or we just issued their permit for a new gas line under the Gregory Canal.
Okay.
Can you define taking?
The road right of way in the intersection area for Florida Mango and Forest Hill Boulevard is only 73 feet wide. They need 80 feet to put their new road in. So they're going to take 7 feet off the front of the bank. They're going to take 7 feet next to the dental office on the north side of the road. They're going to take 7 feet and most of those big trees along Dr. Mohop parking lot. That taking occurs, I'm not exactly sure where it stops, but we've had a couple of inquiries from the people just north of the L7 canal about their drain field being in the area that's being taken and what they need to do about that.
All right, thank you, Dan.
And they have two options regarding the taking. They can wait until the value of the property, if the amount is contested, is determined by the court, or they can deposit the full amount to be held in escrow and do a quick take. They're choosing to do the first to have the matter resolved by the court as to the total value.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Clark?
Nothing
Councilman
at this time.
Rodriguez?
Just a quick question. You mean for,
Well, it's Dan, but I mean, if
Dan.
you have a question,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, quick question, Dan. Can you just remind us of this process of lien reductions? You had mentioned to me earlier that we had an idea of giving you authority, and then we decided not to give you authority. You just remind us of that so we're prepared for that for the next meeting.
Here's one right here.
We, before we hired ARI, we had an ordinance prepared that gave guidelines to the town manager to be able to do lien reductions. I could not approve them. I followed the guidelines, came up with a number, and brought that back to council for council's approval. We opted not to pass that ordinance and instead hired ARI to deal with the liens that we had outstanding at that time. And they have been providing that service to us since, I guess it was February or March in 2017 when we hired them.
And do we pay a percentage or a flat fee? I can't remember.
We pay a percentage.
Percentage.
She gets a percentage.
It's a percentage of what we agree that the reduction would be to.
Correct.
Okay. So, and there was no minimum or anything that I remember in that contract.
I want to say the percentage is 15%.
Okay, but I put no minimum, meaning there was no minimum amount.
No.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Just trying to put it all
I
together.
think it's based, if I may, Mr. Rodriguez, I think it's based on the collect.
Right.
Right. But interestingly enough, was there a provision, like if it comes to us and we reduce it, does she get a percentage of the reduced amount?
I mean, she would get, I imagine it has to be, she gets a reduction. Her fee, or arguably we can negotiate it wherever we want if she wanted to amend it, right?
Right.
But let's say it's $1,000, then she would get what, 15% of that. So that's what we collect. She only gets what we collect.
So she has.
Unless we did something in addition, like I think one time, didn't we have them pay her fee and we got money on top of that as well? So they paid her fee. So I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken. No, that never happened. Okay, there you go.
And we don't have any provision where we're asking for her input. I mean, that wouldn't make sense because for reduction purposes, we don't ask for her input.
Well, it's actually the other way around. She's charged with collecting that money. So she goes and does all of the investigative capabilities that she has available to her, which are more than what we have, determines, I would say to a large extent, what the individual can afford and what the options are for collecting those liens, and then makes them an offer. Usually it's, you got to pay us all of it. And then they counter, and anytime she gets a counter, she brings it back to us for discussion.
There's no incentive, obviously, for her to want us to reduce the lien because her percentages or amount is it's lower. Okay. Okay, thanks. That's all I need to know. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Oh, it's my voice.
Okay. Dan, you and I have talked a couple of times this last week. I really appreciate it. I don't have any further questions for you on your report. Can keep up the great work. All right. Now we're on to council comments. I'll start with Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wish everyone a happy new year. For some reason, I lost my voice. Everyone have a happy new year. Bobby, thank you for being here. And thank you for being here. I thought the boat parade was really fun Saturday night. A lot of people. There was a complaint we did get, a political complaint, which maybe we can address next, before the next boat parade, but it did become sort of a political statement that somebody made that was offensive to some. The tree event, first time in 2 years, was perfect. The Hanukkah event was amazing. The parade, we've had a lot of fun things going on here. We had a successful tennis tournament Sunday. It was a continuation from the week before. We had 18 participants and 10 observers, so it was a good turnout. We did not win. I'm glad, because probably people would be saying things. It was very hot. I want to thank Dan for letting the town help out the first go around with it and helping it's a small event, but I think it really fosters a lot of community in the town and community togetherness. So I wanted to say thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to a barbecue next year, I hope.
Yeah,
We really need one. We need this. We need to get back together.
And I'm glad it was a successful tennis tournament. You were the reigning champ, if I recall correctly.
I was the champ 2 years ago, and everyone was like,
So
that seemed kind of fishy. So I was purposely put on with players that I did not want to play with. But you know what? That's what happens when you were the former mayor and a council member and you organize it. You get stuck with the people you don't want to play with.
Well, I'll tell you what, hopefully the next time next year in 2022, when it goes on, I'll be back in action.
We'll have you and Greg, because Greg was in it before.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know it was postponed because I wouldn't have been able to make it this Sunday either. But however, I had something going on both Sundays.
It was actually, it was postponed because it rained right before, and for safety reasons,
Sure.
I just didn't feel like we should go forward because there was just a little bit of wetness still on the ground, and we had a lot of older players. So
Understandable.
okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Councilman Pavone.
I just wish everybody happy holidays, happy new year. A huge thank you to Mike Wade, because what started out as just a couple boats now has turned out to a huge event. And I saw the picture of all the toys he collected for Little Smiles, which is huge for someone to take that on and do that. So a big hats off to him. Looking forward to the rumor I heard about the town barbecue happening in 2022.
It's a rumor.
That's happening.
It's a poorly kept secret.
But that's it.
Thank you. President Pro Tem Freebold.
I'm just looking forward to 2022. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming our way. A lot of stuff, a lot of work ahead of the council. If they go through and they read, they'll see between Tallahassee, Palm Beach County Days, back to community building in Lake Clark Shores, our projects we have here. It's going to be a very busy time, and we need everybody running for council. You know, do your thing and get out there and be heard. And we have a lot of stuff, and we want to keep everybody on board and continue to move forward. I have some differences of opinions with what we received this evening. However, that's what makes our world go round. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. We'll see you all in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Shalhoub.
I'm trying to find on Facebook about this golf cart parade.
The December 18th.
It's Saturday at 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30.
And I don't know whether I misread something, which is possible, but are any roads going to be closed? Number one. Number two, is the town aware of this going on? Number three, is the chief involved in this for safety reasons?
No, we're not. It's not a town event, just like the boat parade's not a town event. Charlie can talk about that in reference. I didn't get any complaints. Everything went very well for the parade, tree lighting. And as you know, a lot of planning goes in, and a lot of people don't know this, but we had use of the helicopter checked out the area. The threat level that the general public didn't know at that time was anywhere from a low to medium threat. They have issues during the parade, the tree lighting, everything went good. That's the first I heard of I guess there was a boat that had some profanity or something on it. I wasn't aware of that, but it's not a town event, so it's a legal question. A lot of you are lawyers. But last year they did have, and I don't know how many, it was like 15 or 20 golf carts, and the officer wasn't aware of it.
but he stopped traffic so they could cross Forest Hill and help them out. But we didn't have any issues or any complaints, so it's not a town event. I heard that they were talking about it, but I don't have any dates or times.
Thank you, Chief. My concern is kind of simple. It's all about safety. And I think they put together a route. I thought I saw something on Facebook about that. You know, I'm a technical dweeb, so I don't know what's going on this stuff. But I think that somebody needs to make absolutely certain that the roads are accessible and they're not blocked. And just make sure it's a safe event.
I think memory serves me, and weren't you in the parade last year?
Yes.
There's a member of someone tied to the coordination of it will stop traffic. And it's not to get to the north side and then back to the south side.
Well, we built that access road, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
behind the park.
Yeah, but anyhow, I'm saying there is, I don't know who it is, I don't know the individual's name, but I do recall that traffic is stopped for the safe passage, and it was not the LCSPD.
There's a safety in numbers, so they all meet, and then they cross all at one time, so that they're all together. And but the people that are doing it are on the north side, so they're just going to Gabriel Lane.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're not coming across Forest Hill Boulevard?
No, the event starts on the north side. So they'll meet at the parks. The people that live on the south side will meet at the park to go across together so that they're together. Again, safety in numbers.
Hey, look, I just want everybody to be safe. And if LCS Police Department can provide, can do something to assist, fine. I just think they need to, to be involved in the conversation. That's.
Yeah. That's a good point, Bob, because someone said that this year they were going to end up at the south end where we are.
I know they came by, they definitely come to the south side, because I knew they came by Westlake last year. I just don't know, I haven't seen the posted route.
Yeah, someone said that it's going to end on Mediterranean with the end of the golf cart party, so.
Okay, where in the Westlake turns into Mediterranean?
Yeah, so maybe we can discuss.
Or
that
the
with Wes.
Michael West.
It sounds to me like they need to apply for a permit because they don't have the legal authority to stop any traffic. And if they're on the road, they're going to have to comply with all of the traffic requirements. And if they're going to have the town police department involved with closing a road or stopping traffic, sounds to me like it needs to be a permitted event.
Yeah, I think that's why
I'm not sure.
I don't know anything about the event other than I've seen it a few times. That might be why it's not a town event.
Well, I'll get with Dan, and then if we have any legal issues, we'll get with Charlie. I don't know who's in charge. If, you have numerous people making decisions and stuff, but.
Is Eric,
We haven't received any complaints or we've not had any issues. That doesn't mean that we may have an issue and a problem down the road.
Yeah.
Like Bob mentioned. So. But
Look,
that's something to check into.
we'd like to treat it like the boat parade. We're there for safety concerns, not as a participant. And is Eric Fritz the organizer, or who puts it together?
That I don't know. I could probably pick a few people that might be, but I don't want to. I don't know who actually organizes. I know people who talk to me who promote it, but I don't know who actually organizes it.
If you can send me any contact info, any of you, I'd like to reach out to the organizer.
Sure.
Just to have a conversation.
Well, all the guys in this, I'll start over again. Y'all up here are more computer literate than I am. I'm surprised Val doesn't have it.
It's buried in some Facebook post.
We'll figure it out at a time after this meeting.
Come on, Bobby.
All right. Any further comments?
I just want
Vice
to
Mayor?
wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. The Hanukkah lighting I thought was great. It's good to get back out again, and the boat parade was very good. A lot of people came up to us when we did the lighting, want to know about the barbecue. So
It's not a rumor.
it's not a rumor. I said it. We're going to do it. Right, Mr. Clark?
And speaking of that, if I may interrupt for just a moment, I just realized that we would like to have the first barbecue coordination meeting on January 10th. And since our council meeting's on January 11th, I need to announce that now. That our first barbecue coordination meeting,
Going back to 8 a.m.
8 a.m. on January 10th.
You could just have Caroline send a invite.
And we're going to invite the captains so that they're participating in each of
We're
those
going to
meetings.
invite who?
The
Captains.
The captains of the areas for the, the water captain, the
Oh,
food captain. the-
I heard Kaplan's. I'm going, who's the Kaplan's? No. It's your fault.
All right, thank you, Dan. I echo everyone's sentiments about congratulations to Mike Wade. Congratulations to you, Val, on another successful tennis event. Congratulations even more so for running uncontested this year.
Thank you.
I look forward to serving again with you. You've been here for a very long time and you continue to do great work for our town. And good luck to the candidates for Mr. Pavone's seat and obviously Vice Mayor Shalhoub. Hopefully we can continue serving together. With regard to our Tallahassee trip, we got a lot of work to do up there. We're seeking a lot of money from the legislature. This year, we're always up there asking to better improve our town. We're going to be going up in January and again in February. And hopefully when we come back, we'll have some good news to report on both fronts. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Everybody take care and stay safe. Take a motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.